Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial. This is Power, Season 6, final episodes, Episode 15, the last episode of Power. Let's get into it. So, I guess they said forget it. And after the leaks of the ghost death scene of last week, someone leaked the full episode of Episode 15. Of course, we want to get this out the way, so yes, I watched it. And upon watching it, it's basically showing the view from Tasha and Tariq and what they went through during these moments leading up to it. So pretty much, like, you know, when it first comes on and they talk, they show you previously on Power. When they say that, it basically goes over like a summary of everything with Ghost and Tasha, him saying, we were younger, did you know what I was gonna grow up to be? And she's like, yeah, the biggest drug dealer in New York City or whatever. And it just basically touched base on everything. So pretty much everything at this point we didn't already seen. So it just shows you, it doesn't really fill in too many holes, but some of the things that points out was when Tasha, she got a gun when she slept with, so the guy that kept coming to her daycare, she eventually the episode starts off with her showing up to his house and they have sex. And upon her sleeping with him, she sees that he has a gun and she takes his gun. So when she takes his gun, you also see Tariq texts her. So it's a lot of back and forth between her and Tariq through the whole episode. It shows when Dre gave Tariq the gun, Tariq took the gun and put it in Truth Nightclub, hid it in Truth Nightclub. Some of the things that doesn't explain is how this big nightclub is, the doors is always unlocked and stuff like that. So Tasha, after trying everything, telling Jamie, saying that Jamie killed Silver, nothing was working. So she drums up the plan that with her and Tariq, that they gotta trust one another and they gotta be honest with each other at all times for the plan to work. So she drums up the plan that she's gonna leave the back door or whatever open so she can slip in, and she's gonna go and hide. She just got the key back to Escalade out of the apartment. When the scene where we see Ghost at the apartment and her had a confrontation after they refurnished the apartment, she got a bag and it was the key to the Escalade in there. So a second key. So she got that key and her plan was basically to hide in the back of Ghost's car, and when he get in there, she was going to shoot him from the back. So when she goes and sits in the car, she sees a reflection in the mirror of Sean looking back at her in a reflection. So that like messed her head up, like, this is not me, this ain't the way to go. So she texts Tariq, basically telling Tariq not to go through with the plan. By this time, Tariq is already laying low in the Club Truth. So when he's laying low in Club Truth, he sees the imagery of Kanan, same way Ghost seen the imagery of Kanan. And Kanan, he like, what the F? And he sees Kanan, and Kanan pretty much gets in his head and tells him, like, what you great, let your mom do your dirty work. And he like, yo, I didn't, pretty much, I didn't want to do that to you, Kay. And he said, I get it, I understand. You live by the street, die by the street. So, he like, that was a good plan by your mom, pretty much. That was your mom's stuff, but you got to handle this situation. So that forced Tariq to say, nah, he the one that got to go through with the killing. So Ghost is chilling, and Tariq approaches him, of course, and pretty much he like, well, what are you doing here? And by this time, it shows, by this time it shows Tariq and him having back and forth dialogue or whatever. Now, already earlier in the episode, Tariq and him had the back and forth. You get to see when it shows him, Tariq showing up to Ghost's hotel. It shows more detail in that conversation. It shows when he killed Breeze. Well, he tells Tariq how he killed Breeze. He gave Breeze one last chance to, turn it around, but Breeze didn't, so he had to kill him. So basically, Tariq brought that back up to Ghost in their dialogue and basically said, I gave you one last chance to change things around, but you didn't. Can't you see who I am? I'm you. Or whatever. So he pulls the gun, and of course, Tasha comes in running, and he shoots Tasha. And at that moment, they panic or whatever, and that's when he told Tasha, they're like, give me the gun, what we gonna do, what we gonna do? So they took the gun away, and ran off. Tasha ran off with the gun. Meanwhile, that's when Tommy came in and seen that it was Tariq. And so that's the scene where you see Tommy shooting up, and then Ghost is like, nah, let it go, whatever. And so at that moment, Tariq is, dismal in his head, can't believe what he just did, but then he got his thoughts together. Meanwhile, he's seen Sax inside of the Truth nightclub. And then he also seen Sax help up the detective that got punched in her eye. So he helps her too, or whatever. So Tariq sees all that. So he changes his clothes that he had in his bag into the stuff that he shows up with when he was at Truth nightclub when Ghost was having the event. He walks around the corner and acting like he's blending in with the crowd. And then he's pretty much crying and, my dad, whatever. Meanwhile, Tasha takes the gun, she dips off. So at that moment, everything starts to fall place. Now, this is the aftermath. Now, remember, we see Tasha shows up to the state hearing, see where things go. So Ghost pretty much set the will up that Tariq would get everything. Yaz would get her portion. It was set up in 3 to all his children. Tasha didn't get nothing. He didn't put nothing in for Tasha to get. And because Raina passed away, majority of the portion goes to Tariq, with one stipulation. Tariq can't touch nothing until he graduates from college, a 4-year college, with a 3.5 GPA. So that's kind of like, all right, to graduate from college with 3.5 GPA, that means you at least got to be in tune and you got to be doing your work unless you find somebody that can do your work for you. But that was the stipulation. So they was pissed pretty much like, he's dead and he's still controlling our life pretty much. So at that moment, it shows where I can't think of his name. The guy that Ghost a couple seasons ago, he pretty much, man, I can't think of his name. Older guy, he's connected. He had his wife, he was doing weird stuff behind his wife, and she pretty much knew, but exposed him. She got the divorce and got Ghost on top. He just showed up with the lady that was running for governor when they showed up to Senator Tate's office. I can't really think of his name right now, but nevertheless, he has dinner with Tasha, and pretty much at that point has dinner with Tasha and tell her pretty much, come work for me because I need, basically because you a black woman, I could use you on with hours to bring that the black people to our cause or whatever. So he used his influence to get Tariq into college without a GED, so that the deal was Tariq would have to finish his GED, but they will get him into college. So they got that part straight. Now, what happens is that they got interrogated after the state after they went to the state meeting for the lawyers. They had got interrogated with the detective and Sachs, and pretty much they saying like, yo, they put them in the office saying, Tariq, we know you did it, or your mom did it, either or. So they questioning both of them. They both sticking to the story that Andre was the one that killed Ghost, not knowing yet that Andre is dead. But that's the story they're sticking to. Meanwhile, Tariq said, okay. And it was like because he's underage, they got a child advocate person in there. And so when he said he needs some water, Sachs told that person, go get him some water. And so when the woman left, Tariq told him, I seen you at Truth that night. So right now, we're going to stick to the story that Andre killed Ghost, and that's it. And so Sachs know that could compromise things. And Sachs got his job back, too, by him getting cleared, like by Ghost dying and all that. So Sachs got his job back. So at that moment, he went back in the office with the detective and told her pretty much like, yo, I believe him. Andre did it. And he had the motive, and they ran everything down. And pretty much she was like, yo, if Andre did it, then that really falls back on her, because she the one released him after she knew he had motive to get at Ghost. So she tried to get 2-Bit. She pulled 2-Bit in there, get 2-Bit to turn over evidence. And so 2-Bit pretty much was like, if you know Andre, he too soft to kill Ghost. You know, pretty much he wouldn't have did that. And whatever. And so she's like, how you know? And then he's like, yo, you better watch that eye, or whatever. And 2-Bit left. And then, you know what I'm saying, from there, so when Tariq came home with Tasha, and they was like, well, they found out Andre's dead, they should have talked again, but they didn't. So Tariq pretty much, he didn't tell her what he seen with Sachs and everything like that. So really at that moment, Tasha outthought herself. So what she goes and do is she told Tariq she got rid of the gun. So what she goes and do is she sleeps with the guy again and goes over his house. Now, one part I forgot to leave out. How Tasha got to the club is she asked that guy, because he all gullible with her, well, so we think, that he like, yo, she like, yo, bring me up to wait here for me, take me to Truth. I'm gonna get Ghost to sign the divorce papers. I know you with me, and I'm gonna have the confidence to approach him. And I know you right outside, or whatever. So that brings him to the scene, or whatever. So that's what she's thinking. So she goes and takes the gun and places it in his apartment, and then in the middle of the night, the cops break in. Pretty much, we're gonna race you, you know, for the rest of James St. Patrick. He said, Tasha, tell him I was with you the whole time. Tell him I was with you the whole time. She went mute pretty much. So when she's going to start her first day at work, and Tariq going to start his first day at school, the cops come in to arrest Tasha for the murder of James St. Patrick. And what she didn't know was, when she thought he was out there waiting with her, he left and went to a store and to get he left and went to a store to get some energy drink or something. So that shows him at another location around the time that St. Patrick got killed or whatever. So, but she didn't know that, because when she came back in the car, she was like, he asked her, yo, what happened? I heard a gunshot. And she was like, when I went in there, he was already dead or whatever. So she didn't know he left. She thought he was there the whole time. So he had an alibi to say, I wasn't there at the time of the shooting or whatever. So she didn't know that at that moment they had everything. It showed her getting locked up, showed her in cuffs in her jail jumpsuit. It shows Tariq entering the school in college, and it shows him getting his stuff and everything, and it says Tariq St. Patrick, class of 2024. And that's pretty much how it ends. And then it goes off, but then it comes back. And don't you know how, like, at the movies, you got the little preview, like, of the next leading up. So it comes back and it shows the teenage versions of Tommy, Ghost, and Angela. They in high school, and it shows Tommy and Ghost walking up, and then it shows Ghost pushing up on Angie, and she telling him about the school choke that's in Connecticut, that he ended up getting everything he wanted for Tariq. Everything he wanted for Tariq, he learned about the school choke from Angela when they was teenagers or whatever. So it just shows a preview. That's supposed to be Power Book 2, showing the teenage lives of Ghost and Tommy and how they came to become and everything like that. So that's what Mary J. Blige and Method Man is supposed to be playing in. So there we have it. The final review for Power Season 6. I thank everybody for tuning in week to week, tuning into the videos. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'm always bringing content on this channel. I'm always reviewing something. At this moment, I just heard the passing of legend great Kobe Bryant. R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant. Till next time.